I had this idea for an album years ago talking about convictions and the mental and spiritual toll that takes on someone like me with health issues, immigration issues, just all these unique situations. But I wasn't quite sure how to present that to people. And then eventually at the top of 2020, I dedicated this year to this project. And sure enough, after I had the I'm serious now talk with Damon in his apartment, COVID happened. And suddenly, the main themes of this album, isolation, health scares, like that became very real for everyone.
Has this extra little percussive sound in there that you didn't mean to make, but it sounds really cool.
That's dope.
So you get like a instead of just it's like
kind of sounds more rebellion-esque.
yeah, 100%. And you can't hear it a lot, but once I compress it, it'll sound really cool.
Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah.
There's not a single song on this album I'm not geeked to hear.
I'm so pumped. Yeah, man. Okay.
How long did you loop it?
I haven't looped it yet. I just quantized it.
Yeah, Apex hit me up a long time ago for when he was first thinking about this project. So while we were still recording vocals for his first project that I did with him, so not his debut album, but his Anxiety EP, and he was like, yo, I have this really cool album concept, I want to call it Missions and Convictions, and I was like, yeah, that'll be awesome or whatever, but then I didn't really get it as much until we started tracking some other stuff. We started tracking Nothing to Lose. We started tracking Letter Back Home. We started tracking So Fast. And I could start to really see an improvement in a lot of things around the music, right? I mean, my production was getting better. His bars were getting better. His delivery was getting better. And then when we sat down to start recording some of the first couple songs off of this album, it was kind of like a really big realization for me, where I was like, man, this is like, he's got plans for this, you know what I mean? I think it was like the moment that we started tracking the vocals for this project that I was like, yeah, this is gonna be different than what we've done before.
Hey, we so broken, the Kurt just broke, so we cut the coffee like crack. Hey.
I love the way that flow goes, especially the da 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 da, because it's the da 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 da. It's the same rhythm there, right?
Man, working with Odyssey has been dope because, like, him and I are really, really close now. Like, we were close before the album started, but just spending 9 months together basically working on this project has been so fun. There's been hilarious moments like when he broke my headphones messing with some chord.
You want this to come until the chorus?
No.
Okay.
The reigning king. Looking out for me.
I'm sorry, I think I broke your headphones.
Oh no.
Like, really bad. Sorry. I'm really sorry.
It's okay. They weren't that expensive.
I'll buy you new ones if you want.
It's fine. We just need some to record. It's just been really fun to work with him because he knows my mind. He knows how it works now. And I feel like, you know, I'm spoiled in that sense of having a producer who is so talented, like as talented as he is, still be able to talk and relate to the things I'm saying when I'm like, I want this to sound like a ghost town. And he's like, okay, bet. And then he turns around and gives me the Wolves beat in 2 weeks. And it's exactly what I wanted. Like, it's just, it's a really cool vibe being able to work with someone who knows your mind. And like, whenever I get in my creative zone, I'm a really poor communicator. It's really hard for me to say what I'm thinking and what I want. But he just reads it. He knows it. And so that's why this whole album was like, I knew it had to be a 100%er with him. That is one of the main things that changed throughout the course of like the idea starting. And when I was serious at the top of 2020, I learned like this is probably only going to be the way I want it to if I work with Odyssey the whole time.
As much as they're a little bit more percussive.
Yeah, I like that.
That's maybe a bit too much.
Then also maybe, I think we'll get ahead a little bit, but after these 4 bars, we add like just a steady horn in the back of it.
Yeah. Okay. I think this will sound better with them like cutting out a little bit quicker. Like. Yeah, because that actually doesn't sound like it's way out of key now.
No, it sounds good. When I party, trouble's worsen. But you know I've always been my own person. My new personal challenge was to make it through this patch with that malice. And I'm praying for a chalice. Bada beat, bada boom. Finally made it down my room. Just some place to make it through. They start working right at noon. So yeah, whenever I get to the bada beat, bada boom, and then we just do like a elephant trunk sort of horn, you know?
Yeah, okay.
Come together, ladies and gentlemen. Another great thing was, like, since we were in lockdown and stuff, we were just recording in his bedroom and like his 2 different rooms. And between takes, I just laid down on his bed most of the time. And he was super accommodating for me with everything. He made this fire grilled cheese sandwich one day. I will never forget it. That was the best grilled cheese in my life. I think he put like pepper jack cheese in it. It just hit different, man. We were on the lake too. It was fire. Look at this beautiful lake that we've been fortunate enough to record on.
And then me.
And then this beautiful person. Hey guys, today is Thursday, is it the 13th? Yeah, I think it's the 13th. And I'm going to shoot the album cover with Damon and Sydney. And I'm pretty excited because we have some pretty good ideas. Hey, we had an issue with the camera, but we're back.
Oh, it's
Getting
working
some
now?
Dope shots. Yeah, it's working now. Anything you want to say to the people?
Yeah, go stream this man's music because it's really good. And I produced most of it, so.
Humble brag.
It's been so crazy going through this. Apex is one of my best friends. It's a crazy whole thing that we've been through this whole thing. I've worked on music with him for so long, but it's never been like this. He's the stepbrother of like my best friend from high school, Samuel Campsell. He actually he has vocals on this project on Time Zone and on Vendetta. When Caleb and I first started working on like the Anxiety EP, we didn't know each other super well. He came and like stayed with me at my place, but even though he was staying like at my place, I didn't know him super well. But through that, I got to know him better, and we've been a lot closer ever since then. He's a great guy, you know, and we've been working closely. We did the Revenge of the Sith, the Revenge of the South project, and that was different too, because then I was living with Samuel at the time, and then he came and tracked all the vocals while I was living there. This is the first time that we've sat down and worked on something that it's like, we were tracking this thing for months, you know? And I think Caleb's attitude towards this has flipped compared to where his attitude was with other places, and he has such a clear vision for what he wants for this project that it created some really awesome moments, and it also created some really frustrating moments for us. There would be times where we weren't getting the sound that we wanted, we weren't agreeing on some of the sounds and stuff like that, but I think that's a good thing. I think it's just a sign of the fact that we were both passionate and invested in the project. So I think friendship-wise, we've gotten closer over it. Working relationship-wise, I think we know now why it's not very often that albums are made with hip-hop artists just working with one exclusive producer. One exclusive producer can't capture everything in the artist's mind. You know what I mean?
I guess another negative of working with Odyssey is he doesn't have a hip-hop background, so a lot of the references, things that I like wanted to kind of display to him, I had to either show him and point out, and particularly I couldn't just be like, yo, you know when J. Cole was like this on this song, which is fine. It just like took up some more time, because then it was a back and forth of, is this what you meant, or is this what you meant? Do you mean this part of it? So I guess we can throw that under the negative columns, but there really wasn't many. So today is October the 15th, and I just submitted the first single to distribution. I'm not gonna announce it as part of the album yet because we don't have all the masters in yet, but the mixes are coming in and everything's looking pretty good so far. Gotten all the features in except for a couple, so by the time we get everything taken care of, I think late January will probably be the release, maybe February. The first single is set for November 13th, so that's not too far off, and that gives time to build some momentum. So all things considered, I'm pretty happy with where everything is. It's been a long time since I sat down and recorded something for this vlog, but that's just how it goes sometimes, man. You get preoccupied with different things, especially when you're making an album of this caliber, with this love of fan base. You start to question a lot of marketing and promo things, so we'll see how this turns out. Y'all will know before me in this current stage because it's October.
I was excited. To be honest, like I love working with any artist in CHH that's gonna have me. I think it's a great way to engage in community. I wasn't fully aware of Apex. So after we worked out like the details of the verse and I started listening to his music, I got really excited to be a part of the project. I am not entirely sure. I remember I liked the beat and I felt like it was really easy to like write on. And I think looking back, it's because it has such a driving element to it that there's like a lot of room and a lot of pockets to fill with whatever flows I wanted to. So I found the writing process like really easy for that in terms of flow. And I really enjoyed working on my verse for it. And then in terms of like the subject matter, I resonated with that right away because, you know, I am also broke, even though I am not in a new time zone. I just moved out like, you know, maybe 6 or 7 months before he had hit me up. I don't really remember the exact timeline, but yeah, I was also going through life-changing stuff and money was a big part of it. So I really enjoyed like taking the concept that Apex had for the track and then kind of putting my spin on it. I'm a very conceptual writer, so I like to kind of tell a little story. When I think of it in perspective, it just helps me realize like I need to be thankful for all of this. To be honest, I really want it to do well because I love how like indie like the vibe of the project is, and I think Apex is a very talented creator, and I'm excited for people to hear like his vision front to back of the whole record, which I still haven't, so I'm excited to hear it too. And yeah, I just really want that to resonate with people. The indie aesthetic, how clean the production is, the story he's telling, and I'm excited to hear it personally. And yeah.
Man, choosing the features was super important for me, and shout out to everyone who hopped on. They were all super supportive, super open, and super down with the concept of the album, the particular songs that they hopped on. I remember I hit up Trey from next door super early into this iteration of the album for Wolves, and I knew that I needed him on it. So I was patient and I waited, and I'm so glad because this whole album ended up just getting better from day to day. So to be honest with you, my verses on Wolves are some of my least favorite verses on the album, maybe my 2 least favorite actually. But the whole idea of waiting was revealed to me throughout not just that process, but everything that life had thrown at me up until that point. I don't know if anyone else feels like that whenever they're having to wait for something, but you kind of have like this idea of, you know, that it's happening, but you can't control any aspect of it happening, you know? I feel like it's kind of the defining song of the album. It's also kind of defining for me personally, because it's like,
And this is the last
this
one?
is the last one.
Okay,
It's like,
yeah, okay.
to everyone who's not in my life anymore, like, it's not bitterness, it's not hate, it's all love. I just don't have energy for that anymore. You know, like, we only have so much energy, especially me, that, like, the things that I want to spend my energy on is worshiping, seriously, because I miss doing that. It's being with family, it's making dope music. Anything else is secondary at this point, you know? So I don't know, I woke up so excited for this song.
Yeah, man. Well, let's do it then. That's good.
Let's do it. There was a lot of physical challenges for me making this album. Just with my muscular dystrophy, it has gotten to a point where I don't think a lot of people realize how bad it affects me, and that's very intentional. I'm a private person. As much as I am active online and stuff, a lot of it's not about my personal life. And that was another thing that was really hard about making this album. It's like ultra personal, especially with the physical challenges, and that's kind of new to me. Anxiety touched on that, but this is a whole other level. So I was very nervous, honestly, writing a lot of it.
All the physical things that he has to go through with his muscular dystrophy and just his perseverance to get through that, like at the end of those days of shooting, he was like, his body was hurting, you know, but he really, really pushed through. Same with days where we were just recording vocals, you know, like I don't think people realize how much of a toll it takes on him to just stand and, you know, put his energy into those vocal performances for a full, like, 4 or 5 hours worth of tracking stuff, you know. It's a lot. So yeah, I think that's a big thing, is his perseverance, but then also his vision, you know. He has a really, really, really specific direction that he wants to take his music, and I think that's super cool. And I'm super down to see where that goes in the future, because it surprised me where it went on this project, and I was the executive producer, you know? So yeah, I think that he's got really, really interesting things to come from him.
Man, just like going to shoot the Wolves video was such a eye-opener for me, because Josh is great. He's awesome, very accommodating, a very talented person, but so much of the stuff that I wanted to do in the video, I just physically couldn't do. And then having the moment of like having to wait for them to unload and reconstruct my wheelchair and stuff, it's a humbling experience, I'm not gonna lie to you, but it's one that I needed to kind of fully accept where I'm at. So as funny as it is, and as much as I advocate for like mental health stuff, if I hadn't had that just weird moment in the van, I probably wouldn't have been able to fully believe the things that I was saying in this album. Opening up about mental health is it's never easy, but I always found it easier to do it in the music, because hip-hop this is something that a lot of people who aren't like hip-hop heads don't necessarily understand about hip-hop. The storytelling is just different. It hits different. It sounds different than other genres, because it's more story than music. I knew that the best way for me to just open up to myself was to write this down in like story form. Be like, yo, this is my situation. This is me. And a lot of those verses, of course, I just kept for myself or whatever. But some ended up on the album, and then that kind of became this whole other storyline throughout Missions and Convictions. And it's tough. It's especially tough to like show people you know and people who think that you're, you know, better. And people hear the album, they're like, are you okay? It's like, yeah, I'm cool, bro. It's just, this is how I chose to um, be therapeutic with myself. This is how I chose to open up about different things in my head. Alright, so super raw, super transparent moment right now. This is what's been going on. Over the last couple of months, I haven't really been attentive to this documentary, and that's not necessarily because I didn't want to, but the stuff that's been going on has been so just so all over the place. To recap the last couple of weeks, I have been working with a super dope company, Build Your Own Dreams. Um, People connected throughout CHH, but even more so than that, they're just good people. It's been a blessing to work with them, particularly Aaron and Matt, who are in my camp right now. And we're currently working on getting 10,000 Ways out and in front of a bigger audience. I've just sent How Do You to Poetics for a final mix down and a final master. He said he'll get it back to me by tomorrow night. The reason that I did that is because I think that could be the difference between potentially playlisting, but more so like long-term results. If I drop a project and some of the songs have these weird noises in the back because we recorded everything in a bedroom, then it might do well right now because of COVID and the kind of aesthetics that we turn that into, but it'll do so much better long term if we make sure that it sounds the best that it possibly could. So basically, that's what I've been doing right now, and I think that this is all worth it. So I just wanted to hop on here, let y'all know that the reason that this doc is all over the place is because the album journey has been all over the place.
I think the happiest thing I could be with for this project is, you know, a couple years down the road when he's got some like a real fan base, like where he's like pulling in people really listening to his music and they take a look back on his catalog. I think this is going to be like the album where people are like, man, like that's where stuff started to come together. You know what I mean? That'll be one of those albums in his catalog that people look back at and go like, wow, that was where things really started. Apex is really proud of where this album's at, and for good reason, for sure. So while it's not going to be, you know, a number one hit or anything, I think that it's going to surpass my expectations. I think it's going to surpass his expectations. I think it's going to surpass his fans' expectations. So, yeah.
Making this album has taken so long, but it's so worth it. And looking back to see like where the idea started from 2018 to where it is now, is a blessing, honestly. Like, I've grown so much as an artist, just as a person, in my walk with God, and, you know, grown the fan base. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all that. I guess if I could pinpoint one thing that I want people to walk away from this album knowing, it's that, like, no matter what situation, how unique it is, you're not alone. And even if you can't find another human soul to relate to what you're going through, which I bet you can, know that there's a God who is very real and loves you very much, and he is here for you. You just have to reach out to him. You just have to accept him reaching out to you.